Hi there, and welcome to Principal Shorts, the podcast for principals who have 7.5 minutes for lunch and no time to eat their lunch until after 2 p.m. I'm your host, Stan Baker, and along with my colleagues Steve Young and Shelley Steele. Here's Paula, an AI voice, to tell you what it is we do.
Thanks for giving me the words to say, Stan. I'm Paula. Restorative Resolution specializes in equipping principals and staff at elementary and secondary schools with effective restorative practices. Can you help? Yes, you can by giving Shelley, Steve, and Stan your thoughts on this podcast's relevance, practicality, and your suggestions to add to the conversation. It's a feedback loop that can shape future podcast topics.
I'd love to chat with you about the possibility of being a guest on our podcast. Click the podcast feedback link in the description below. And here's today's Principal's Problem of Practice. What's happening with student attendance at your school and why? In a November 19th, 2024 report in TES magazine, there was research in English-speaking countries around the world. I'll let Paula, an AI voice, help us out with the research.
Thanks, Stan. What the research indicated was that there's an increase in truancy among girls, fueled by girls skipping school. The article states, and I quote, "Overall, increases in truancy appear to have been driven by an increasing proportion of teenage girls skipping school. This was attributed to increasing rates of poor mental health, especially concentrated among girls, including as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. A rise in lower-level mental health challenges disproportionately among girls could lead to a decision to skip school on a day when, for example, experiencing heightened anxiety, and hence play a role in explaining our findings. While the researchers, add that they cannot test this hypothesis, they say it may be worth future exploration," end quote. It's really an attendance equity issue, isn't it, Stan?
Yes, it absolutely is an equity issue in attendance. So the research warrants more research. Fair enough. That happens a lot with research. What I think is important is, do you really know as a principal where things are at? And what's interesting to me is that mental health concerns disproportionately affect female students skipping school, and that's worth checking out. Now, here's something you can delegate based on the question that you ask. Does this research hold for our school, that girls are missing more than boys, first of all? And then secondly, what are some of the reasons that we found at our school that girls are missing more than boys, if that's the case? It's always a good idea to have current data on attendance and to know what the data says, and then to build a plan around that.
It's Paula again. Stan wanted me to ask you this. So how relevant is this principal's problem of practice to you? Practical solutions? Click the link for the feedback loop in the podcast description, or you can click through our website, www.restorative.ca. Back to you, Stan.
So 2 things you can find out by delegating some data digging this afternoon or tomorrow. 1, get the current attendance data for this week for your school. And 2, does the research hold true for your school with girls' mental health, anxiety, and depression accounting for girls being absent more than boys? And be sure to take the full 7.5 minutes for your lunch, eh?